we've had Melinda on hold forever. Let me get to Melinda. Melinda, are you still with us? What can we help you with from Past Christianity?
Good evening, Melinda.
Hey, lady. What can we help you with?
Yes, back in July, I went to a medical facility.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a rising, a boil, abscess, and the doctor that came in, she stuck the thing that they put in your arm when they're giving you an IV.
Yes, ma'am.
She stuck that in where the abscess were in my private parts. And she didn't deaden anything. Blood went all over the place. When she finished, she told me, cover yourself up, and she walked on out the door. I didn't know at the time until I talked to some doctors that she supposedly had deadened it, but she didn't.
Melinda, that sounds terrible. I mean, just right off the bat, that sounds awful. Jim, what are
No
your
question,
thoughts?
sounds terrible. Melinda, are you okay today?
I'm still having rises. I think I have one now.
I'm sorry you
Ever
haven't.
since she did that, they keep coming out.
Okay, all right. And how long ago did this happen?
July.
It happened in July.
Okay.
July of
all
this.
right.
Okay.
And you want to know kind of what, if anything, you can do about it?
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, let me kind of give you an overview, Melinda. So,
There's a lot to unpack there, Jim.
yeah, there is.
There's
And
a lot.
And look, you know, this is, I know that's painful, and it sounds, it's uncomfortable just to think about it. So I know it's painful, and it hurt a lot, and so you may not like what I'm about to tell you, but in medical malpractice cases, which is what you're dealing with here, you have to basically have a doctor or medical professional who will take the stand and say what the other medical professional did that was wrong,
Okay, right.
You have to pay those individuals to do that. And so, unfortunately, under the laws of our state, which I disagree with and I lobbied against, there are caps as to what you can recover in this state. So there's a limited amount of what you can recover for in a medical malpractice case. And so unless you have an injury, and this is a general rule that we follow in our office, in a medical malpractice context, unless someone unfortunately is killed or very severely injured so that they're not able to work in the future or something like that, even if the case is one that has merit, it probably doesn't make sense from an economic standpoint to,
I see where you're going,
pursue, because you're going to spend more prosecuting the case than the caps will allow you to recover, okay? And so what I would suggest...
So for like Melinda, a painful episode, but just the dollars and cents.
I turn
of
it down. It's just in bringing the claim.
She isn't going to like this answer.
No, it's
I
not.
knew you're right.
So
She
that's
wasn't
the
gonna like
practical matter. But what I would encourage you to do is let the medical providers know that you've had a problem, and you can probably reach out to them and tell them you think you're entitled to some compensation for this, and many of them will understand that and may offer you something for your troubles. Now, it will be a different story, so Ms. Melinda, so for instance, if you were to have a permanent problem going forward, a medical condition that required permanent medical care going forward, if they had injured you in your private somehow, where you had a problem where you couldn't function normally like you could before, then it's a different ballgame. You take this same conduct, this happens, and a permanent problem, it's going to cost a lot in the future to take care of, it's going to be very problematic for you in the future, or maybe it's going to keep it where you can't work like you could in the future, then you have a claim, the same set of facts that makes sense to pursue, okay?
Right,
Because you can recover more. And so that's the hard reality of kind of the way I see your case. That's not to say you don't have a case. You may have a case, and other lawyers may see it and think differently. But as a practical matter on these kinds of cases, unless it's a really, really catastrophic injury, generally you spend as much money pursuing the claim as you could going to recover even in a win.
Jim, let me ask you this, just in case Miss Melinda wants to move forward, documentation a good idea for her?
Always.
Go ahead and write down the dates,
write
and
down
the
the dates
receipts,
and in the medical records and your problems. And you can call the office if you want to Monday. I can talk to you about it in some more detail, Miss Melinda, or another attorney that handles these kinds of cases. We'll talk to you about it and review your case for free. We keep medical professionals on retainer to review these kinds of cases and see if they have merit. But from just a little bit that I've heard from your case, that's probably the way I see that it's going to land.
Jim, how important is documentation? I mean, it's just everything, isn't
Well,
it?
in a medical case, especially, it's everything. Okay?
Yeah.
They'll say it's a saying in a medical case, if it's not in the medical records, it didn't happen.
Right,
okay?
right.
So you've got to make sure you're documenting it. And if you're having a problem, people I see, and I don't know if it's more our region of the country or not, but a lot of people, particularly Southern men, are stoic. They want to work through it. They want to say they're not hurt. But if you're having a problem,
yes.
you need to go get it taken care of. one, because you need the medical care, but two, I've seen this many times over my career. Somebody's had a problem, maybe a severe back problem. They've worked
Right.
through it. They've taken aspirin. They've soaked it in a hot tub after work, and it's not documented then for months at a time that they have an injury, and then all of a sudden it gets where they can't stand it anymore. They go to the doctor, they have
Yeah,
an injury,
now they got
and then it
something.
comes up and says, well, you didn't get hurt on the job because you hadn't been to the doctor for 8 months.
Right.
You see, so you don't want to get in that trap either.